ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, January 30th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line is open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Going to be open text lines for the remainder of the day, so get those texts in now. We've got Marshall basketball action to lead into tomorrow. We're going to be on the air at, are you ready for this? 2 o'clock on 93.7 The Dog and ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as the Herd taking on Arkansas State and Jonesboro, Arkansas. Should be, I think, again, this is going to be a tougher challenge than what Texas State was supposed to be. I like Arkansas State's team. They're close in the net rankings. Should be a challenge. Let's hope that the Herd has rebounded from the loss against Texas State. Of course, again, if you didn't catch the score, I mean, let's not revisit it much longer. 72-68 defeat to Texas State. So the Herd now put in not the best position. 13-8 overall is all right. That's not terrible. Marshall has an opportunity to go on a run maybe and stack some wins up. But I'm more concerned about the Sun Belt standings because now Marshall's 5-4. And so with Marshall being 5-4 in the standings, Marshall's got some ground to try to make up. And again, it's not that bad. Marshall's 5-4. So Marshall right now has 4 teams ahead of it. Troy, South Alabama, App State, Georgia State. Do you believe that? Georgia State at 9-13 is 6-4 in league play. Marshall at 13-8, 5-4 in league play. So the Herd taking on a very game, I think, Arkansas State team. And again, that's coming up tomorrow. We've got the game for you. 2 o'clock is our airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Also, the women back in action tomorrow, going to be at the Cam Henderson Center taking on Louisiana. That's the play for K game. Marshall's not that far, still has a legitimate shot to play one of the later seeds. Right now, Marshall's 8-3, and there's plenty of time there. The Herd faltering against a really game Troy team. And so Marshall coming into this one tomorrow at 1 p.m., taking on Louisiana. I think Marshall can bounce back. You give up 20 points. And I know that game was a little physical, and I still think Marshall should have been able to answer, should have been able to hold on to that 20-point lead. I would have taken a 2-point victory. I'd have taken a 1-point victory, but you build out to a 20-point lead, and then Troy's able to assert itself a little bit more, and Marshall just didn't have an answer for that strength and that size. So hopefully the Herd can get it turned right back around and not let this loss turn into 2 losses. Marshall's been very good, though, at most Sun Belt matchups. So 8-3 on the schedule, looking for more. So we'll hear from Coach Folks tomorrow. We're going to send Bill Cornwell over to the Henderson Center, so he's going to cover the women's game for us tomorrow afternoon as we got the men's game. So we should have Coach Folks' comments, hopefully, in our post game. If not, we'll definitely get to them later in the week as we get ready for, hopefully, a strong run. If you can bounce back and get a strong run going, I think Marshall can finish pretty high and not have to play those first few days. And really, this team was turning it on during tournament time. That's what I'm looking for out of the women right now, just to bounce back from this loss. And it was a close loss. It wasn't as if Marshall just completely got outclassed. I think the physicality maybe got the better of the Herd in that one. Still, if Marshall can get on a run, I think we're looking good here as far as the women are concerned. For the men, I'm looking for consistency. That's what I'm hoping for right now. Consistency with the Thundering Herd. Marshall sitting at 5-4. going on the road once again to take on Arkansas State, which is sitting in league play at 5-5, 13-9 overall, 5-5 in its last 10. That's an interesting one right there. This team has a record of 7-2 at home, 6-7 on the road. Doesn't matter in this one tomorrow, but Arkansas State's 7-2 at home. Another team that's really good on the home court. Lost its last 2 though, but it's 5-5 in the last 10. Marshall, on the other hand, fares a little bit better, 6-4 in its last 10. As we've talked about, the Herd's really good at home, 10-2. That record should be better, but Marshall's 10-2 at home, and on the road, 3-6. What is it about the road that Marshall just hasn't been able to figure out? And if you look at the way that Sunbelt schools are winning, not too many teams actually have winning records on the road. And I'll start from top bottom because I think that's a little bit more, I want to say, I mean, look, ULM is 0-11 on the road, so that's not fair to kind of throw them in. But Troy is 7-4 on the road. South Alabama is 6-4 on the road. App State's 5-6. Georgia State is 3-9 on the road. This is overall. This isn't conference. Marshall's 3-6 on the road. Georgia Southern's 5-4. Coastal Carolina is 6-7. Arkansas State, we mentioned 6-7 as well. I mean, Texas State's terrible, 1-8 on the road, but of course, 11-1 at home now. And Southern Miss, James Madison, 3-9. Old Dominion's 3-11. Louisiana's 2-10, and as I highlighted, ULM 0-11 on the road. So the road has not been necessarily the best place for teams in this league. With a few exceptions, it's been pretty much 50-50, hit or miss. And Marshall's right there at 3-6 on the road, has an opportunity to kind of turn that around and get itself into a spot where it's top 4 finish, maybe, is what I'm looking for right now for the Herd. I mean, Troy's 8-2. You've got some time, but Troy's 8-2 right now, so you're trying to catch up with them for the top spot if you're still looking for that conference regular season crown. But Marshall's got some work to do. Losing to Georgia State did not help. Losing to Texas State did not help. Those were games that I thought were winnable. Should have been winnable. Losing to Texas State. Those are the losses. Marshall right now. And in league play, 5-4. Where are the losses? Troy, the league leader. Okay. And then you lose to a team like Georgia State. And you lose to a team like Texas State. And Texas State, very good at home. Overall, though, not the best. You lose to Coastal Carolina. And you've got to bounce back quickly because you've got Southern Miss next week. That should be theoretically winnable. And then you got Miami. Theoretically, the MAC and the Sun Belt Challenge pair teams that are close together. And so Marshall gets Miami. Makes sense because Marshall having its own MAC Sun Belt Challenge, with UMass and then Toledo and then Ohio on the schedule. So, you try to put together the best match for both teams, and Miami does fit the bill there, but Miami's really good right now. And so could Marshall bounce back against Arkansas State, Southern Miss, get the win at the Henderson Center, and then go on a run? Because the schedule looks like this. If you can get past Miami, you're on the road at Old Dominion, at Georgia Southern. You are home against South Alabama, on the road at App State, at Coastal Carolina, and then you've got Old Dominion, Georgia Southern. You've got some winnable games there, but we've seen what the Herd looks like on the road, and unfortunately, it's just not been good as of late. So hopefully, and I'm optimistic. I'm hoping that the Herd can find some consistency and turn it around. We will get your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a lot to get into today. There are a lot of things happening at the Henderson Center and, of course, at Marshall. We'll break it all down for you, and we'll hear from you as well on this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, and baked lasagna. Giovanni's has the best sandwiches around, from the stromboli, Italian sub, calzones, and their signature Big Red. All dinners will be served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's Pizza, fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council. Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
As a prospective college student, one way you can save money on higher education is to earn college credit while you're still in high school. You can save hundreds, even thousands of dollars by taking dual credit courses, which let you earn high school credit and college credit at the same time. Want to learn more about dual credit courses? Visit the website of the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority at kheaa.com. That's kheaa.com.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on today's edition of The Drive. Phone line is open. You can text in now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We talked about earlier, we've got basketball coming up tomorrow. You can listen to the men take on Arkansas State. We're going to have that for you at 2 o'clock. You can listen to it here either on 93.7 The Dog or ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. For those of you that are heading over to the Henderson Center tomorrow to kind of follow along with the Herd in Louisiana, that's going to tip off at 1 o'clock. Busy evening of sports coming up. So we're going to have also on our sister station, this is the promotion part of the show, Kentucky at number 15, Arkansas. That's going to be at 6:30 p.m. So we go on the air at 5 o'clock, and you can tune in to that on Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So after the Herd game is over, you can tune in and catch your second favorite team. I tease because a lot of you are Kentucky fans. You wear the green, you wear the blue. Man, color coordination, kids, color coordination. Basketball action, Morehead State got the win over SIU Edwardsville, 67-65. Women's side, number 11, Ohio State, beat Wisconsin 81-58. NBA action tonight, it's going to be Cleveland at Phoenix. That's going to be a 9 o'clock tip. And then a little bit earlier, it's going to be Columbus at Chicago in the National Hockey League. 8:30 is going to be face-off there. And we've also got the Clash at Bowman Gray, 5:30 airtime, 7 o'clock race time. That's coming up Sunday on Big Buck 1015, Big Buck Country 1015 for all of your cup racing action. And, of course, Coach Mercer would be mad at me if I didn't mention this. The Marshall women's tennis team will play a pair of matches this weekend. Right now, it's going to be, we don't have the updates on this one, the Herd facing Wake Forest. And then Sunday, it will be Bowling Green. So Wake Forest on the road, Bowling Green Sunday for Marshall tennis. And, of course, Coach Mercer and his squad playing all comers. That's the one thing I like about the tennis team. The schedule is not easy, and I think in the end, it always benefits that squad. So that's where we're at with all the happenings going on. Of course, basketball is our big focus. Herd taking on Arkansas State. Consistency is the big thing, I think. I think I can harp on that until I'm blue in the face, and that wouldn't be healthy. But at the same time, Arkansas State isn't going to be a pushover. This is a team, even though it's on a two-game losing streak, it's a team that will battle you on the boards. Multiple players are in double-digit scoring. Marshall, on the other hand, I still think you need a little bit more offense from Matt Van Komen. The defense is there. He gets good looks at shots to block. He's a good rebounder. Jalen Spear can make things happen. And Marshall's good in so many aspects, but then you get to that inconsistency, and the big number was, again, the three-point shot, inconsistent. It's feast or famine just about. You make 26 at home, and then you make 5 of 22, so completely hot and cold. And I wasn't looking for anything close to that record-breaking performance for the Herd, but still, I was looking for a little bit better than 5 of 22. So inconsistency has really plagued the Thundering Herd at this point. Free throw line has, and I don't think it was that bad as you look at the game, but Marshall was 7 of 12. Could have hit a few more of those. 7 of 12, you hit those, you have a few more opportunities. You leave at least 5 points right there. And then Texas State outscores you by 6 on the free throw line at 13 and 19 there. And then Texas State outscores you from the three-point line, 7-15 to 5 of 22. So right there, that's your ball game if you want to get nitpicky with it. Your ball game, more threes, more free throws. Rebounds, 10 more. So this is another challenge. And I think Arkansas State's better than Texas State, to be blunt about it. I don't think it gets any easier on the schedule. The road trip is tough. Southern Miss, with I hazard to say this, but Marshall should win that game. And I know it's not exactly, it's biased because I think Marshall's better than Southern Miss. Southern Miss is 5-6 in league play, 11-12 overall. But Texas State was also sort of in that same boat. Southern Miss is not very good on the road, so Marshall's got that going for it as we look past this Arkansas State game. But again, this is a team that's really good at home, fair on the road, 6-7, overall 13-9, 500. This team is 500 in league play. And it's not a terrible team by any stretch of the imagination. And I think it's better than Texas State, which just beat the Herd. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We got a couple other interesting things to get into. We've got another Bengal making the Pro Bowl. We'll touch on that. Also, the Marshall women's soccer program announcing its spring schedule. So we'll go over a couple of those things, and we'll hear from you when we continue on this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Are you tired of running out of space? Check out Menards Self-Storage Facility. Menards Self-Storage offers the most convenient and secure self-storage in the area. Options include features like 24/7 access, video surveillance, and on-site management. Menards has warehouse units at the best prices in the area, and your first month is free. They're going quickly, so reserve yours now at menardsselfstorage.com. Unit and offer details may vary by facility.
Save big money at Menards.
Let the Car Ferry bring a little magic to your driveway at Mark Porter Auto Group. With locations in Pomeroy and Jackson, Ohio, and Ashland, Kentucky, they make it easy to get into a safe, reliable vehicle. Every used car goes through a 117-point inspection, fall into a safe, reliable vehicle, and let the Car Ferry guide you to Mark Porter Auto Group in Pomeroy, Jackson, and Ashland, or shop 24/7 at markporterautogroup.com.
Get a 12-inch one-topping pizza for $7.99 at Giovanni's Pizza when you order online Sunday through Wednesday for a limited time. Find your local Giovanni's at giovannispizza.com. Giovanni's Pizza, quality without compromise.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that's built to last. KFB, the Better Bank, is proud to be your hometown community bank, serving neighbors, not numbers. We're here for all your financial needs today and well into the future. So if you're looking for a bank that's committed for the long haul, check out our Wheelersburg location today. KFB, the Better Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cardinal Chevy kicks off the year of more. More selection, more discounts, more for your trade. Silverados take up to 13 grand off. Tahoes and Suburbans up to 10 grand off. New Equinox from only $269 a month. All EV models have 0% financing. Plus, we will buy or trade any vehicle regardless of remaining payments. New ownership, improved processes, better deals. Better deals. Better deals. The bow tie needs a better buy. Get more at CardinalChevy.com. Together, let's drive. See dealer for details.
Get a 12-inch one-topping pizza for $7.99 at Giovanni's Pizza when you order online Sunday through Wednesday for a limited time. Find your local Giovanni's at giovannispizza.com. Giovanni's Pizza, quality without compromise.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, Metro News Talkline coming right back at you on Monday. We'll have it for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, I follow and care about Herd basketball more than I probably should, but I truly believe when we are our best, we are the best in the league. The inconsistency is killer and keeps me up at night in frustration. Hot take, but I believe our schedule on the way out is brutal. Complete faith in Corny and our leaders to pull together enough wins to finish at least top 4. Corny has continued to do a great job with players and in-game decisions. D'Antoni knew what he was doing in getting him promoted to head coach. Ready for our annual trip to Pensacola. Go Herd. Let's break that down. Appreciate the thoughts. I don't think anyone really has issue with Coach Jackson. If you do, I want to hear why. I don't think anyone really does. If you're following Marshall basketball at this point, I don't think you can have a criticism of the job that Coach Jackson's doing. He takes ownership. He doesn't pass the buck. He's not looking to make excuses. He's been kind of candid and blunt at times. Like, look, you know, the other team's got players too, and they're good, but we came out, we were inconsistent, or, you know, the first half killed us, things like that. I mean, he's not taking the faults of the game and trying to cover it up a little bit. So he's candid. Another thing, though, is that Marshall has the talent. We've seen sparks of it. We've seen this team go out there and absolutely look like it belonged on the court with almost anyone, in this league especially. But could this team use to be a little bit more gritty? I think so. And that's hard to say. It's hard to look at your team and look at these guys and go, hey, you guys aren't tough enough. I don't know if that's something that you could just say. I mean, Coach could probably say it. I can't walk up to Wyatt Fricks and go, you know what, Wyatt, you're not tough enough. Or Matt Van Komen, Matt, you're just not banging in there. You're not tough enough. Or Jalen Spear, you're not tough enough. Or Noah Schutte, any of these guys. You just can't look at these guys and go, you're not tough enough. Not getting it done. Because I think that they're tough enough. Fricks has absolutely been a leader on this team. Noah Schutte comes to play. Jalen Spear comes to play. Matt Van Komen, despite maybe not having the offensive output I'd like, 10 rebounds. He had 3 blocks. He's definitely a focal point when it comes to this defense. And, 10 rebounds, that's huge for this Thundering Herd team. And then if you can get guys that come off the bench with a little spark more, like a Kai Spears, and he brings that gritty, tough energy, and he definitely was a spark in that game against Texas State. You look at these guys, and you're hoping that the rest of the team starts to think, okay, I got to make sure I'm showing up as well. I got to pack a lunch because we're going to be here all day. Let's go to work because this is going to be an all-day affair. Let's do it. And that's what you're looking for out of this team. You're looking for that energy. You're looking for that ability to be tough, to play with consistency. And I think that part of the problem is you get frustrated and you're 5 of 22. If you're Jalen Spear, you're 2 of 8 from the three-point line. Back of your mind, I don't know that kid's makeup well enough to say, it can't just be back there, but it's got to be a little frustrating. You're 2 of 8. 6 of 16 from the field overall, but 2 of 8. You got to be a little frustrated with that. Wyatt Fricks 7 of 12. That's solid. Noah Schutte 6 of 13. Matt Van Komen 2 of 4. This was not a consistent night for the Thundering Herd, and we've seen this team shoot a lot better from the field and get it done. And the thing is, Marshall still had a chance to win this game. You're down by 10 at half. You come back and you actually outscore Texas State 39-33, but you just couldn't follow up and finish the job. And that's what hurt you. And getting out rebounded by 10 didn't help. Texas State had 30 defensive rebounds, 11 offensive boards, 30 on the defensive glass. And then Marshall just had only 6 offensive rebounds. 25 defensive, but only 6 off the offensive glass. And the foul situation wasn't that bad. 17 fouls for the Herd. That seems normal. 15 for Texas State, could be better. You don't want to put anybody on the line for those free points. 13 of 19, and again, that killed you. That hurt you there. I think the three-point shot, even though it wasn't good, 5 of 22, you're still in this game. You have an opportunity. And the other one that really bothered me, and hopefully I don't have to worry about this one tomorrow, again, points off turnovers. That bothered me as well. 10 for Texas State. Texas State committed 13 turnovers, got 10 points off of Marshall's 7 turnovers. Marshall only got 6 points off of Texas State's 13 turnovers. That isn't good. That's a number right there that if you force 13 turnovers or you can get 13 turnovers, you should have more than 10 points off of turnovers. Period. But I did like Marshall inside. Marshall had 40 points in the paint. I did like them, when they were able to go in and get points. And that second half is completely different than that first half. Marshall was 16 of 30 in that second half. 4 of 13 from the three-point line. That's 31%, but that's way better than 1 of 9 that first half. Free throw line again, that wasn't good. But I liked the Marshall team I saw in the second half better than I liked the team in the first half. And Texas State was ripe for the picking. Second half, Texas State didn't do anything really spectacular. 11 of 31. We didn't really talk about that. 15 of 27 in that first half for 56%, but it went cold from the field, 11 of 31, but It was 5 of 9 from the three-point line and 6 of 9 from the free throw line. In that span, Marshall 16 of 30 from the field. In that second half, 11-31. So Marshall wins that battle. 4 of 13 from the three-point line in the second for the Herd. 5 of 9. So one better. Free throw line, Marshall 3 of 8. Texas State 6 of 9. Right there. The damage was done in the first half. Marshall can't get it done late. Last time the Herd could score was with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go. Texas State would go on and win the game. And Marshall now looking to rebound against what might be a tougher Arkansas State team. I guarantee you the crowd will be better than the Texas State crowd. The team will be better. It's another one of these Sun Belt teams that plays well at home. And so I don't have answers right now. I'm not the guy to have answers, but I don't have them right now. I've seen nothing but inconsistency from this team. And I like this team, and I like this coach, and I like the makeup. When this team is on, this team is on. And to the texture's point, again, I appreciate that. You know, when Marshall is at its best, it's probably the best team in the league. Marshall could be a basketball school. Marshall is good at basketball. There's a history of Marshall being good at basketball, but few and far between. Marshall has become a football school, but Marshall has the opportunity, if it can put it together in basketball, Marshall could be the basketball school in this league. The fans are there. The coach is there. The inconsistency is killing it right now, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, we still got plenty of basketball to talk about, and we'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. What are your thoughts? You agree? Or do you think there's something else going on with this team? Final segment coming up on this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hurt at Work? Warner Law Offices is now here for you in Huntington on 4th Avenue, across from the courthouse. Personal, local, decades of experience.
Call 345-6789.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Ray Crabtree, 304-736-8181. In Milton, Russ McRae, 304-743-9318. And in Lavallette, Jason Elkins, 304-529-7555.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Giovanni's 20th Street is the place to be before, during, and after the game. 14 great beers on tap, plus classic Giovanni's pizzas, pastas, calzones, sandwiches, and wings. Never miss a minute of the action on 10 TVs now at Giovanni's 20th Street. And Giovanni's 20th Street has never looked or tasted better. Under new ownership and management. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Order online at Giovanni'sPizzaPower.com. 20th Street Giovanni's, right on Marshall's campus, across from from Edwards Stadium.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? I mean, people need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating is a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Final segment for today's edition of Your Drive, but plenty of time for you. The text line is open rest of the way, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Football news today, Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco has been added to the AFC roster for the upcoming Pro Bowl game. This is the first career Pro Bowl selection for Joe Flacco. I did not know that. He's an 18th year veteran. He played in 13 total games, 10 starts, completing 251 of 416 passes for 2,479 yards, had 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He started the first 4 games of the season for Cleveland. Then he was acquired by the Bengals in that trade back on October 7th, and he started 6 for the Bengals. From his first Bengals start in Week 6 through his final start in Week 12, Joe Flacco ranked second in the NFL in completions at 154, tied for third in touchdown passes with 13, and fifth in passing yards at 1,636. That includes what was a career-high 470-yard passing game. 470 yards passing. Week 9. That was against Chicago. And then he had, in that Week 7 win over Pittsburgh, 342-yard, 3-touchdown performance. In that game, beat the Steelers, and then becomes the 7th quarterback in Bengals history to be named a Pro Bowler. He's going to be out there with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins as Pro Bowl selections. That's going to be on the Pro Bowl games take place on Tuesday, February 3rd. It's going to be on ESPN. So the Pro Bowl games. I don't know if I still like the Pro Bowl format, but it's good to see Joe Flacco has been named a Pro Bowler. Who knew that he'd be a favorite son of the Cincinnati Bengals based off of that performance? I mean, he can still do the funniest thing ever. I'd like to see him play for all the AFC North teams. I heard soccer, it puts out its spring schedule today. We mentioned that to you earlier. I don't want to forget that. It's got a game on March 7th against Glenville State, and then on April 3rd, going to be against West Virginia State. April 8th against the University of Charleston. April 12th going to be at Northern Kentucky. April 17th against Vaughan. And this is a team out of Canada. I believe it's Vaughan. And Kentucky is going to be April 25th. That's going to be at UK. So 8 wins, most in a decade under last year. And Marshall had 4 all Sun Belt selections, 3 weekly award winners. That hadn't happened since 2015. So this team is getting a little bit better. Again, the men are at a certain level, and you look at the women and you ask why not, and it seems like they're on the path to that. All things being equal, the women should have access and should have almost the same advantages as the men. Obviously, the soccer pitch, the soccer stadium, the facility doesn't make you a winner, but I think Coach Grassi has shown the way. And again, he's a championship coach, and he has claim to that with his background, his pedigree. Of course, you hear Coach Jackson talk about, hey, Coach, what do you do? And I journal. He talks about that journal a lot. And I'm curious. I want to see one of them. If anyone's ever seen it, I want to know what it looks like. I want to know what exactly is in the championship journal of a Chris Grassi or a Coach Jackson. So I'm curious to know what the journal looks like. I don't know if I'm ever going to get that peek, but still, one can ask. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Texter writes in and says, Paul, I appreciate that we still have fans that care about Marshall basketball, but apathy is set in for me. Appreciate the text. Thank you. Short and sweet, but kind of hits a point there. When does the apathy start to set in? I don't think we're there yet. For me, anyway. Now, Marshall's had a rough time at home. Marshall is 6-4 in its last 10. Still winning. Still better than not. Marshall has an opportunity to bounce back at Arkansas State, which I think is a better team than Texas State. And I don't mean that to be derogatory towards Texas State, because we knew they would be good at home. But Arkansas State's just as good at home as well. And I think overall, just a little bit better than Texas State. So Marshall has the opportunity to go in, get a nice road win, maybe turn this thing around a little bit, and then come back home and get ready for, honestly, a winnable game. A winnable game. And that's not for me to say. Coach is not going to look at me and go, hey, thanks for saying that. Thanks for telling my guys it's winnable. Coach will have a breakdown of the schedule and go, no, this is why they're tough. He always finds something to point out, hey, look, no, they're good here, they're good here. And that's what a good coach does. He looks and sees where the strengths are. Because if Marshall based its wins and losses on which teams I think were winnable, this would be a different schedule altogether here, completely. So, important one coming up tomorrow. We're going to have the game for you. 2 o'clock is going to be our airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and on 93.7 The Dog. So we got a full day for you tomorrow. Herd basketball. We're sending Bill Cornwell over to the women's game. See if the Herd can bounce back against Louisiana. We'll hopefully have comments from head coach Julie Folks. Probably won't get to those until our post game, but we will try to get to those as well, especially if it's a win for the Herd. And we'll try to stick around as long as we can. We had to wait a little later for Coach Jackson's comments, but we were able to get them in. So we will stick around as long as we can. Hopefully we won't have the same Wi-Fi issue we did the other night with Coach Jackson trying to get back to Huntington with a suitable and decent connection so we could do the post game. But appreciate Coach Jackson and Marshall for deciding not to just pack it up and go and actually wanting to do it. So we thank them, and we'll have that for you tomorrow. All of that coming up starting at 2 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog. Texter writes in and says, Paul, I don't think this schedule is as tough as the texter said earlier. Appreciate that text. Thank you. Marshall's net's okay. The net's kind of a reflection of your success against your schedule. To be fair, I'm not saying the net's the end-all, be-all, but as far as an indicator of what you've done and putting that up against what everyone else has done and ranking it, Marshall right now is 140 in the net. 140 in the net. Troy is 113. Arkansas State is 157 in the net. Texas State's now 276 in the net. But I'm focused now on Arkansas State. So Arkansas State, 157 in the net. That's just 17 points below the herd. And Arkansas State, 0-2 in quad 1. 0-2 in quad 2. 6-1 in quad 3. And 5-4 in quad 4. Indicator of it's won the games it should. It's good at home. Marshall, on the other hand, still pretty high, number 2 in the Sun Belt. So really, Marshall's number 2 in the Sun Belt in net. Troy is at number 1. And Marshall can get this win and then beat Southern Miss, which is 250 in the net. Then we get the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. And the reason you pair these two teams together, Marshall and Miami, is because Marshall's net's pretty good compared to the rest of the Sun Belt. And so you're playing like teams, or the closest you can get to a like team. Unfortunately for Marshall, Miami is in the net right now 51. 51. Akron, 52. Ohio right now is at 231. I expected better out of them. Toledo's at 163 in the net. Just kind of give you an idea. Massachusetts, 186. Let's give you some frames of reference here. But Miami, 51 in the net right now. Can you imagine? Marshall gets the win against Arkansas State, then comes back home, gets a nice win against Southern Miss. Miami comes in, and you should come out for that game. You should come out. I don't want to see an empty seat in the Henderson Center. That is Miami. Long-term herd fans know that's a game you show up for. That's a rival. And if you come out for that game, cheer the herd on. If Marshall gets that victory, all of a sudden, Marshall beat this team. It'll be talked about. That'll be the talked about game in the Mid-American Conference and Sun Belt Challenge. If Marshall can get that win against Miami, we're looking a little too far ahead. We got business tomorrow against Arkansas State. 2 o'clock's our airtime here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a great ride home.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.